hiding in plain sight.
That's the thrill of reading Finnegans Wake.
It is.
It's a constant process of discovery,
Yeah.
peeling back layers,
Uncovering those connections.
finding unexpected connections.
You start to realize every word, every phrase
Yes.
has the potential to unlock a whole new world.
Of meaning.
But how do we know what's important?
That's where our critical sources come in.
Okay.
To give us invaluable insights
Okay.
into Joyce's intentions. His literary techniques, the
Yeah.
historical and mythological contexts.
So they're like guides,
They're guides.
not dictators.
Dictators, yeah.
They offer a path,
Yeah.
but ultimately it's up to us to explore.
Exactly, to make our own discoveries.
And that's why it continues to fascinate readers almost a century later.
Almost a century later.
You know, Finnegans Wake is often seen as a book for academics,
Yeah,
literary elites.
right.
But isn't there something here for everyone?
No, absolutely.
What about the average reader?
The biggest misconception about Finnegans Wake
What's that?
is that you need to be a scholar to appreciate it.
Oh.
Oh, not true at all.
So anyone can enjoy it.
Anyone who loves language
Yeah.
enjoys a good challenge
Right.
and is willing to embrace a different way of reading.
Let go of the need for a straightforward narrative,
Yes.
for easy answers,
Exactly.
and just get lost in the beauty
the beauty,
and complexity of the language.
the language itself.
It's like experiencing literature
in a whole new way.
in a completely new way.
Yeah.
Think of it as an adventure,
An adventure.
a journey into uncharted territory.
Yeah, you might get lost,
Yeah.
stumble over words,
Well-
feel like you're wandering in circles.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly.
It's about embracing the uncertainty,
The ambiguity.
the joy of discovering something new.
Even if you can't quite put your finger on it.
One of our sources mentioned that Joyce compared Finnegans Wake to the Book of Kells.
Ah, yes.
That's a great comparison.
A brilliant
The
comparison.
Book of Kells, with its intricate illumination,
The interweaving patterns.
breathtaking artistry.
They're a masterpiece.
Both are incredibly complex,
Yes.
richly layered,
They are.
require close attention.
To appreciate their full beauty.
It's like Joyce is taking the spirit of the Book of Kells
And translating it
into a new form
a new language.
for the modern age.
Exactly.
He's drawing from Irish artistic tradition,
He is.
but also pushing the boundaries.
Of what literature can be.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
So we've talked a lot about the Irish context,
Yes.
the history and mythology.
Right.
But what about the rest of the world?
Ah, that's a great question.
Is there anything in Finnegans Wake
There is.
that resonates beyond the borders of Ireland?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That leads us to another crucial aspect.
What's that?
It's universality.
Okay. Universal.
While deeply rooted in Irish culture,
Right.
it also encompasses themes and stories from all over the world. Really? Mythology,
Okay.
history, literature,
Wow.
from diverse cultures.
It's like a tapestry of human experience
It is. And
with
they're
threads from every corner of the globe,
beautifully put.
even though it's anchored in Dublin.
Anchored in Dublin.
It's a global dream.
A global dream. I love that.
You don't need to be an expert in every culture to appreciate it.
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing the shared patterns,
Yes.
the recurrent archetypes that connect us all.
That connect us all, yeah.
So even though it's grounded in Dublin
Mm.
in the early 20th century,
Right.
it speaks to something larger,
It does.
something universal about the human condition.
Absolutely.
The fall and resurrection of Finnegan,
Yeah.
the rivalry between Shem and Sean,
Mhm.
the ambiguous crime of HCE.
These are themes that resonate across cultures
Wow.
and throughout history.
They tap into something fundamental
Who?
about being human.
About the human experience, yeah.
Struggles with identity,
Yeah.
search for meaning.
Our relationship with time
Wow.
and memory.
It's about the cycles of life and death.
It is.
The tension between creation and destruction,
Exactly.
yearning for connection.
And belonging.
And all of this is expressed through a language that's constantly evolving.
A language that defies the limitations of traditional grammar
Wow.
and syntax.
So the language mirrors the fluidity of consciousness,
It does, yeah.
the way our thoughts and dreams flow.
And merge
Yeah.
in unpredictable ways.
And that allows Finnegans Wake to transcend cultural boundaries.
It transcends those boundaries.
Maybe difficult isn't the right word
Maybe not.
to describe Finnegans Wake.
It's more about a shift in perspective,
Huh?
a different way of reading,
Right.
a different way of experiencing language.
Like learning a new language.
Yeah.
Where the rules are constantly being rewritten.
And the dictionary is always a page behind.
I love that.
It's about being willing to let go
Okay.
and allow yourself to be surprised,
Yeah.
delighted,
Hmm.
even frustrated
Huh.
by the sheer inventiveness of Joyce's creation.
It's not just a book.
No.
It's an experience.
It's an
A
experience.
journey into the depths of language.
A journey into the heart of Irish culture.
And into the shared consciousness of humanity.
Beautifully said.
Wow.
It's a journey worth taking.
Even if it means stumbling along the way.
Stumbling along the way.
Getting lost in the wordplay.
Yes.
Having to retrace your steps.
Because the joy lies not in finding all the answers,
Right.
but in embracing the questions, in reveling in the mystery,
Okay.
and the beauty of a text that continues to unfold
That continues to unfold.
with each new reading.
Wow. I like that.
So buckle up.
All right. I'm ready.
We're going deep.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Finnegans Wake.
So I hope everyone had a chance to kind of process
Yeah.
all those initial mysteries that we uncovered.
Lots to think about.
But let's take a step back
Okay.
before we get too lost
Mm-hmm.
in the swirling currents of Joyce's language.
It's easy to do.
How do we approach this book
Right.
without getting completely overwhelmed?
Well, luckily, our Finnegans Wake for Dummies source comes in handy again.
Okay, Sebastian Knowles.
Yeah, our intrepid Joyce explorer. He emphasizes that the most important thing is to approach the wake with patience
Patience.
and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
That sounds hard.
It can be.
But he compares reading Finnegans Wake to learning to play an instrument.
I love that analogy.
I thought it was a good one.
It's brilliant.
You wouldn't sit down at a piano for the first time and expect to flawlessly play a Chopin concerto.
No, it takes time.
Yeah.
Practice.
Right.
Willingness to hit a few wrong notes.
You're going to make mistakes.
Exactly.
And just like with music,
Yeah.
the more you practice,
Mm-hmm.
the more your ear becomes attuned to the nuances.
The subtle harmonies.
So maybe Finnegans Wake is less about understanding everything
Mm-hmm.
and more about developing an ear.
An ear for Joyce's
Yeah.
linguistic symphony.
I like that.
Tuning into the rhythms of the language.
Yes.
The echoes, the
Oh,
associations.
Yeah.
The way words play off one another.
Knowles also suggests tackling the book in a non-linear fashion.
Yes,
Starting with the easier sections,
that's right.
gradually building up to the more challenging chapters.
The ski slope method.
I like that. It takes the pressure off.
It does, doesn't it?
It makes a lot of sense considering the cyclical nature of the wake.
Yeah, the themes and motifs keep weaving in and out. So
Yeah.
even if you jump ahead or circle back,
Right.
you're bound to encounter familiar threads.
It's like a spiral staircase.
Yes, you keep circling around.
Right.
But with each revelation,
Mm-hmm.
you ascend to a new level.
That's a good analogy.
A new level of understanding.
And even if something seems impenetrable on the first pass,
Yeah.
it might click into place later.
Later on,
Yeah.
when you encounter it in a different context.
Yeah, with a fresh perspective.
Exactly.
This whole daytime reading versus nighttime reading,
What about that?
is that really necessary?
Well, Knowles suggests reading with an analytical mind during the day.
Okay, during the day.
Yeah, maybe have a notebook,
Okay.
jot down observations,
Uh-huh.
look up unfamiliar references.
Uh-huh.
Then at night,
Yeah.
just read for sound.
Okay.
Allow yourself to be lulled by the music of the language.
So like drifting off to sleep with a symphony.
Exactly.
So two different lenses.
Two different lenses.
To view the wake,
Yeah.
daytime for detective work,
Mm-hmm.
nighttime for dreamscape immersion.
I love that.
I do too.
So how does that tie into the usable device idea?
Yeah.
Well, remember, a usable device implies active engagement.
Yeah.
Reading analytically during the day lets you unpack those linguistic puzzles,
Okay.
decode those historical and mythological references,
Uh-huh.
and you start to piece together that bigger picture.
Okay.
But reading for sound at night allows you to tap into a different kind of understanding.
A more intuitive, emotional, subconscious level.
Exactly.
So we're being asked to use both sides of our brain.
It's a full brain workout.
It is.
That's why it's so challenging.
And also rewarding.
But it's incredibly rewarding.
And there's no single correct way to read it.
Nope. Each individual brings their own unique perspective.
Speaking of unique perspectives,
Yes.
one of our sources really dug into this recurring motif
Oh, okay.
of the number 1132 in the wake.
Oh, yeah. 1132.
Yeah, this one caught my eye.
It's a fascinating detail.
It is.
This number, often interpreted as the time of HCE's crime,
Okay.
pops up throughout the text.
Yeah,
Sometimes explicitly, sometimes hidden.
right, like a secret code.
Like a secret code, yeah.
One source even connects a 1132 to a real historical event,
Oh, wow.
the destruction of the Abbey of Kildare
Yes.
in the year 1132.
It's a chilling connection.
It is. It really gives this seemingly random number a whole new layer of meaning.
It does, doesn't it?
The Abbey of Kildare was a center of learning,
It was founded by Saint Bridget.
who embodies the earlier pagan goddess Brehid.
Exactly.
And its destruction symbolizes a turning point in Irish history.
A turning point.
Yeah, the violent intrusion of English power.
It was a loss.
Yeah.
A loss of Ireland's golden age.
So Joyce is layering in a commentary
He is. He's very clever.
on power,
Mm-hmm.
colonialism,
Yes.
and the complexities of Irish history.
It's all there, woven into the text.
It's amazing how he does that.
It is.
How much meaning he can pack into a single detail,
I know.
like a single number.
It's remarkable.
What else is hiding in plain sight?
Right. That's what's so exciting about Finnegans Wake.
Yeah.
It's a constant process of discovery.
Like an archaeological dig.
Exactly. You're peeling back layers,
Yeah.
finding those unexpected connections.
And you start to realize that every word, every phrase
Mm-hmm.
could unlock a whole new world of meaning.
A whole new world.
But how do we know what's important?
Right. How do we sift through all these layers?
Yeah, like how do we make sense of it all?
That's where those critical sources come in. They
Yeah.
can really help us.
In what way?
They give us insights into Joyce's intentions,
Right.
his techniques,
Yeah.
the historical context,
The mythological context.
all of that.
So they're like guides,
They are. They're like guides.
not dictators.
Exactly.
They offer a path, but ultimately it's up to us to explore.
To make our own discoveries.
And that's what keeps people coming back.
To the Wake
Yeah.
for almost a century.
You know, I've always thought of Finnegans Wake as a book for academics,
Yeah, a lot of people do.
for literary elites.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying there's something here for everyone.
I really believe that.
What about the average reader who's curious but intimidated?
The biggest misconception about Finnegans Wake
What's that?
is that you need to be a scholar to appreciate it.
I see. So anyone can enjoy it.
Anyone who loves language
Okay.
enjoys a challenge
Right.
and is willing to embrace a different way of reading.
Let go of that need for a straightforward narrative.
Yes.
Easy answers.
And just get lost
Yeah.
in the beauty.
The beauty and complexity.
Beauty to language.
It's like experiencing literature in a whole new way.
Absolutely. Think of it as an adventure.
An adventure.
Yeah, a journey into uncharted territory.
You might get lost along the way.
You might.
Stumble over unfamiliar words.
It happened.
Feel like you're wandering in circles.
That's part of the fun.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly.
Embrace the uncertainty, the ambiguity.
The joy of discovering something new.
Yeah. Even if you can't quite put your finger on it.
Exactly.
You know, one of our sources mentioned that Joyce himself
Yeah.
compared Finnegans Wake to the Book of Kells.
He did a brilliant comparison.
Yeah.
The Book of Kells.
With its intricate illuminations,
The interweaving patterns.
its breathtaking artistry.
A masterpiece.
Both are so complex,
They are.
richly layered,
Yes.
and they require close attention to appreciate
Fully appreciate.
their beauty.
Yeah.
It's like Joyce is taking the spirit of the Book of Kells
Yeah.
and translating it into a new form.
A new language for the modern age.
He's drawing from Irish artistic tradition.
He is, but also pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
of what literature can be.
So we've talked a lot about the Irish context,
We have.
the history, the mythology.
It's important.
But what about the rest of the world?
Good question.
Is there anything in Finnegans Wake that resonates beyond the borders of Ireland?
There is, and that leads us to another crucial aspect.
What's that?
It's universality.
Universality.
Yeah, while deeply rooted in Irish culture,
Okay.
it encompasses themes and stories from all over the world.
Really?
Mythology, history, literature,
Wow.
from all these diverse cultures.
So it's like a tapestry
A tapestry of human experience.
with threads from every corner of the globe.
I love that.
It's like a global dream.
Even though it's anchored in Dublin,
Anchored in Dublin, but encompassing the world?
you don't need to be an expert in every culture
No, not at all.
to appreciate it.
Just recognize those shared patterns.
Yeah.
The recurring archetypes that connect us all.
So even though it's grounded in Dublin,
Hmm.
in the early 20th century,
Right.
it speaks to something larger,
It does.
more
Sure.
universal about the human condition,
Absolutely.
the fall and resurrection of Finnegan,
Yes.
the rivalry between Shem and Sean,
Those sounds.
the ambiguous crime of HCE.
These are themes that resonate across cultures.
Okay.
And throughout history, they tap into something fundamental about being human.
They do.
Our anxieties about identity.
Our struggles with power.
our yearning for love and belonging.
All of that is expressed through this language that's constantly evolving,
Wow.
defying those limitations of traditional grammar
Yeah.
and syntax.
It mirrors the fluidity of consciousness,
It does.
the way our thoughts and dreams flow and merge.
In unpredictable ways.
And that's what allows Finnegans Wake to transcend cultural boundaries.
It transcends those boundaries.
Maybe difficult isn't the right word
Maybe not.
to describe Finnegans Wake.
What would you say instead?
It's more about a willingness to shift our perspective,
I like that.
to embrace a different way of reading,
Okay.
a different way of experiencing language.
Like learning a new language,
Yeah.
where the rules are constantly being rewritten.
Right. And the dictionary is always a page behind.
Exactly.
It's about being willing to let go
Let go of those preconceived notions.
and allowing yourself to be surprised.
Surprised by the inventiveness of Joyce,
Delighted, even frustrated.
by the sheer inventiveness of his creation.
Because Finnegans Wake is not just a book.
No, it's not just a book.
It's an experience.
It's an
A
experience.
journey into the depths of language
Into the heart of Irish culture.
and into the shared consciousness of humanity.
Beautifully said.
It's a journey worth taking,
It is.
even if it means stumbling along the way.
Stumbling, getting lost,
Yeah.
having to retrace your steps.
Because ultimately the joy
Yes.
lies not in finding all the answers,
Right?
but in embracing the questions,
Yes.
in reveling in the mystery
The mystery and the beauty.
of a text that continues to unfold.
With each new reading.
Well said.
And with that thought in mind, I think we should take a short.
You know, as we've explored this book, I keep coming back to this idea
Yeah.
that it's not just about deciphering the language or uncovering the history.
Uh-huh.
It's about how we as readers
Mm-hmm.
interact with the text itself.
That usable device concept again, it's a crucial one.
So instead of just reading the book, we're almost collaborating with Joyce
Yeah.
to create the meaning.
Finnegans Wake demands participation.
Why?
It invites us to become co-creators, fill in the gaps,
Mhm.
forge our own connections.
Between the words,
The words, yeah.
images,
Word images.
the echoes.
Exactly.
It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle where the pieces are always shifting.
Shifting. Yeah.
And there might not even be a right solution.
No right answer.
It's about the process.
The process of putting it together.
That can be exhilarating,
It can?
but also terrifying.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
On the one hand, we have freedom.
Yeah, you're not bound by a traditional plot
Right.
or a single interpretation.
But it can also feel overwhelming,
It can?
like navigating a maze blindfolded.
That's a good way to put it.
How do we even begin to make sense of it?
That's where this concept of night language comes in.
Okay. Night language.
Remember Joyce described Finnegans Wake as being written in the language of dreams?
Yeah.
And just like dreams, it operates on a level of association and intuition.
Not strict logic.
Not so much.
So less about dissecting every sentence.
Less about dissecting and more about letting those images,
Yeah.
the sounds, the emotions wash over you.
Like surrendering to the flow of the dream.
Exactly.
Like Noel's suggestion
Yeah.
of reading the wake aloud at night.
Oh, that's a good way to tap into it.
To experience it on a more subconscious level.
Yeah, almost a form of meditation.
That's a great way to put it.
And one of the most rewarding things about Finnegans Wake
Yeah.
is that it can be a truly transformative experience.
Okay. Transformative.
It can change the way you think about language,
Really?
storytelling,
Huh.
even about reality itself.
That sounds pretty amazing.
It is.
But not everyone has the time
Right.
or the inclination.
To devote themselves to Finnegans Wake.
Yeah. So what about the average reader?
Even a brief encounter with Finnegans Wake can be enriching,
Oh,
like just
yeah.
dipping your toes into this ocean of language.
It can expand your understanding of what literature can be.
What language can do,
Yeah.
how stories can be told
It's like seeing the world.
through a kaleidoscope,
You gotta-
familiar shapes and colors rearranged.
Yeah, in a way that makes you question everything.
That's a valuable perspective to have.
Even if you never fully master Finnegans Wake.
It makes you more attuned to the nuances of language,
More open to different ways of thinking.
embracing ambiguity and complexity.
So it's not about understanding Finnegans Wake.
No.
It's about letting it change you.
Letting it change the way you see the world.
How you experience language.
Beautifully put.
And even though it's rooted in Irish history and mythology, it also speaks to these universal themes.
Universal themes, absolutely.
It resonates
Cross cultures.
in time.
We talked about the fall and resurrection of Finnegan.
Yeah.
The rivalry between those sons.
The crime of HCE.
These are stories that explore being human.
The human experience.
Our anxieties about identity.
Yeah.
Struggles with power.
Our yearning for love.
Belonging.
And it does it through this language that's playful.
Poetic.
And endlessly inventive.
It challenges us.
It does.
To the limits of
Yeah.
our understanding.
But ultimately rewards us.
With those moments of beauty.
And insight.
And that's a valuable lesson.
Even beyond Finnegans Wake.
It is.
It's about cultivating curiosity.
Curiosity.
A willingness to embrace the unknown.
The unknown.
Recognizing that there's always more to learn.
Always more to discover.
Even in the things that seem most familiar.
It's about the journey.
A process of discovery.
The joy of encountering something.
That truly expands your mind and your heart.
Beautifully said. And with that thought,
Yeah.
we come to the end of our Finnegans Wake deep dive.
I know.
We've just skimmed the surface.
Yeah.
But hopefully we've given you a taste.
Of its magic.
Its complexity.
Its enduring power.
We've explored that unique structure.
That groundbreaking use of language.
The history, the mythology.
But most importantly, we talked about how to approach this book.
Without being intimidated.
Right, without getting lost.
Finnegans Wake is not just a book.
It's an experience.
It's a challenge, a puzzle, a dream.
But most importantly, it's an invitation.
An invitation.
To play with language.
To delve into history.
Explore your imagination.
And as you embark on your own Finnegans Wake adventure, I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
Could Finnegans Wake, despite, or maybe because of its obscurity, tap into a more primal way
of
understanding the world that relies on sound and association, intuition and feeling, rather than the limitations of conventional language?
Keep that question in mind as you navigate this extraordinary text.
Happy reading, and as always, keep diving.